Hello 11A and welcome to the final vocabulary test. As I wrote in the WeChat group, the vocabulary test, so the tests, not the vocab test, the test for listening skills, the 007 listening skills test will be next week on the Monday, and your reading skill test will be next week on the Tuesday. You will have 2 periods to do each of those tests. And I've provided you with as much vocabulary as I thought would be appropriate for both of them. So it's really up to you to make sure that you know this vocabulary inside and out, and that also you can hear the vocabulary in particular for the listening skills test. So what I'd really recommend is that after you'll have some extra time at the end of the test in this class, I'd recommend that you get into groups, groups of 2 or 3 or 4, or even just partners is fine, and go through your listening vocabulary. So if you can test each other on that, and go through your reading vocabulary and test each other on that. Okay, so simple things like you just pick a word, nocturnal, and maybe Cherisi will ask Carl, what does vulnerable mean? And then Carl can say what he thinks it means, yes or no, just to make sure that you know those words, okay? So it's really important. The more vocabulary you learn, the more successful you're going to be in both of those tests. So we're going to go through the quiz for today. So make sure that you've got the paper in front of you, you've got a pen and paper ready to go. As usual, I'll go through all of the questions, just so again you can listen to the words. So this should help your listening skills in preparation for the test next week. And then once we've done that, we'll swap your papers over, you'll pass it to your partner, and we'll go through the answers. Okay, so we're going to start with a word close, and the words that we have today are embed, cognitive, lungs, and inconsistent. While the students showed great skills with humour and ability to learn, their performance was very. Sometimes they would hand in excellent homework, and other times they would miss deadlines or cheat. The teacher needed to take deep breaths into her to try and remain calm. She wondered how she could better learner skills in their minds. Okay. So embed, cognitive, lungs, and inconsistent. Because we've been learning these words for quite some time, I just wanted to do quick sentence form, not make it too easy for you. Okay, so I know there are a lot of words here, but I'm sure that hopefully by this time you'll be able to answer all of these correctly. So the words that we have are diversify, thriving, marsupial, subliminal, conservative, liver, genome, mammals, nocturnal, and preacher. The sentences. I eat lots of fruit and drink lots of water. I have a very healthy. All of my hereditary information is encoded in the. She was happy and learning and making friends. She was. Kangaroos and wombats carry their young in their pouch. They are. Some people think big companies use messages to make consumers buy their products. Bats and owls are types of mammals. They wanted to do different things with their company. They wanted to. There's something stood at the front of the church talking about the Bible. The opposite to a cold-blooded animal is a. They really don't like any new ideas. They're very. Okay. If you need a couple of more minutes to do that, please press pause on the video and then we will move on into the next section. So please press pause if you need to. Okay, so we're going to move on to the crossword puzzle now. Okay, so I'll just read out the sentences and then as usual, if you want to pause the video so you can complete. The doctor, me. 3, causes cancer. 5, a plant you can smoke. 9, when you put money into a company or idea, you've. 10, bacteria, viruses, and parasites can cause this. 11, get someone to do something through argument or reasons. 13, dealing with all aspects of something. 14, a branch of technology. Sorry, a branch of biology or an area of biology. And then down, 1, moved to another place. 3, you've changed my mind. 4, influencing a person or group to accept ideas unquestioningly. 6, he asked her to marry him. It was a romantic. The Northern Lights is a beautiful. In need of support or care. And firmly fixed in place. And the words that we have are embedded, relocated, convinced, diagnosed, tobacco, vulnerable, indoctrination, invested, persuaded, proposal, genetics, infections, comprehension, and carcinogen. Okay, as I said, please feel free to press pause for a moment while you finish that, and then we'll get started with the rest. Okay, so please press pause, and once everybody has finished, again, please do it by yourself. You may press play on the video and then we will go through the answers together. Okay, so as usual, please get your sheet and pass it across to your partner, and they will actually mark it for you, and then we can identify what words you really need to focus on for the rest of this class today. So what words you need to practice with a classmate to make sure you know all of the vocabulary before next week's exams. Well, the students showed great cognitive skills with humour and ability to learn. Their performance was very inconsistent. Sometimes they would hand in excellent homework and other times they would miss deadlines or cheat. The teacher needed to take deep breaths into her lungs to try and remain calm. She wondered how she could embed better learner skills in their minds. So this section you should get out of 4. All right, I eat lots of fruit and drink lots of water. I have a healthy liver. Okay, so the liver is what processes your water and your food. All of my hereditary information is encoded in the genome. She was happy and learning and making friends. She was thriving. Kangaroos and wombats carry their young in their pouch. They are marsupial or marsupials. Some people think big companies use subliminals, so hidden messages, to make their consumers buy their products. Bats and owls are types of nocturnal animals, so they like to sleep during the day and get out at night. They wanted to do different things with their company. They wanted to diversify, so change, increase. The preacher stood at the front of the church talking about the Bible. And finally, second last one. The opposite to cold-blooded animal is a mammal, who are warm-blooded. And finally, they really don't like any new ideas. They're very conservative. Okay, so that will be out of 2, 4, 6, 8. That's out of 10. Oh, that was terrible. Okay, so let's go down to the quiz and go through the answers there. So number 2 is the doctor diagnosed me. The doctor diagnosed me. 3, causes cancer. Carcinogen. So carcinogen causes cancer. A plant you can smoke, but shouldn't. Tobacco. So number 5 is tobacco. Number 9, when you put money into a company or idea, you've invested. You have invested in them. Number 10, bacteria, viruses, and parasites can cause this. They can cause infection. Infection. 11, to get someone to do something through argument or reason is that you have persuaded them. You have persuaded them. 13, dealing with all aspects of something means that it is comprehensive. Comprehensive. And 14, a branch or area of biology is genetics. So 14, genetics. Moving across to down. And number 1, if you've moved to another place, it's relocation. You changed my mind is you convinced me. You convinced me. 4, influencing a person or group to accept ideas unquestioningly. So to accept ideas without asking any questions is indoctrination. Indoctrination. 6, he asked her to marry him. It was a romantic proposal. Proposal. So proposal is like an idea or suggestion or request. 7, the Northern Lights is a beautiful phenomenon. Phenomenon. So it's something beautiful that we kind of understand, but not completely. So it's a very unique and beautiful phenomenon. 8, in need of support or care means that you are vulnerable. You are vulnerable. And finally, 12 is firmly fixed in place, means that it is embedded. It is embedded. Okay, so in total, you should be about out of 28, I think, off the top of my head. Hopefully I'm correct in that. If you can then send me a message of what your score has been, so what your score has been in total. Those words that you didn't get, if you didn't get vulnerable, or you didn't get invested, or whatever might be the case, make sure you take a note of them. Grab one of your classmates that either have the same or different words that they don't know and start practicing for the rest of this class, okay? So I want you to get your vocab helpers out for listening and your vocab helper out for reading, and just start quizzing each other so you can really learn that vocabulary. No point waiting until next week to do it. I'd get onto and do it now. Don't think that you're going to try and learn the words just before the test. Yeah, this is the most help I can do for you for the listening and the reading test, and I'm hoping that everybody A passes and B gets a really good mark. Any questions, please contact me on WeChat. Other than that, I will see you next class.